Jesus is with us this week. I'll be working on week 1's entry in the faith-based January monthly subscription box titled Worship God and Serve Him Only. I'm using scriptures from this modern English creative journaling Bible, The Promises of God, and I'm using items from Michele's faith-based sticker shop, VinVonAly. Use my PR code VICKIE20 to save on your purchases. So take out your devotional book, Bible, word binder, journal, planner, and join me in week 1's entry. This week's scriptures we will learn are from January 2nd to January 8th, and they are Luke 4:31-37, Matthew 4:13, Mark 1:21, John 2:11-13, Exodus 14:31, John 2:14-25, and Ezekiel 36:38. The monthly message reads, Worship God and serve Him only. If you've started this journey with us last month, then you know that we are taking a look at the ministry of Jesus. Last month, we ended our message by looking at the first miracle Jesus performed, which was turning water into wine. Let's take a look at 3 more notable accounts in Jesus' ministry. In John 4, Jesus finds himself at the well in Samaria. At this well, a Samaritan woman comes to draw water, and Jesus gave the woman a word of knowledge. But more importantly, he tells her of a water far greater than what she would get from the well. This was an example of Jesus' desire to reach the lost, whether they were Jews or not. In John 5:1-15, Jesus travels to Jerusalem and goes to the pool of Bethesda, where many who were ill would gather and wait for the water to be stirred in order to receive healing. Jesus asked the man who had been lame for 38 years if he wanted to be healed. The man wanted healing, but to that point, no one assisted him into the pool. But his one encounter with the Messiah brought about an immediate healing for him. Jesus only spoke to the man and he was healed. Take note that religious leaders found fault with Jesus' healing on the Sabbath and failed to recognize or understand the gift of the Messiah that was standing before them. Luke 4:31-37, titled The Man with an Unclean Spirit. Then he went down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and was teaching them on the Sabbaths. They were astonished at his teachings, for his word was with authority. In a synagogue, there was a man who had the spirit of an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, "Leave us alone! What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent and come out of him." When the demon had thrown him down in the midst, he came out of him and did not hurt him. They were all amazed and said among themselves, "What a word this is!" For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out. And his fame went out to every place in the surrounding countryside. Matthew 4:13, titled The Beginning of the Galilean Ministry. And leaving Nazareth, he came and lived in Capernaum, which is by the sea, in the regions of Zebulun and Naphtali. Mark 1:21, titled The Man with an Unclean Spirit. They went to Capernaum, and immediately on the Sabbath he entered the synagogue and taught. John 2:11, titled The Wedding at Cana and the Cleansing of the Temple. This, the first of his signs, Jesus did in Cana of Galilee, and he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he and his mother and his brothers and his disciples went down to Capernaum. They remained there a few days. The Passover of the Jews was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Exodus 14:31, titled Crossing the Red Sea. When Israel saw the great power which the Lord used upon the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord, and they believed in the Lord and his servant Moses. John 2:14-25, titled The Cleansing of the Temple, and Jesus Knows All Men. In the temple he found those who were selling oxen, sheep, and doves, and the money changers sitting there. When he had made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and oxen. He poured out the changers' money and overturned the tables. He said to those who sold doves, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of merchandise." His disciples remembered that it was written, "Zeal for your house will consume me." Then the Jews said to him, "What sign do you show us, seeing that you do these things?" Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Then the Jews said, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking concerning the temple of his body. Therefore, when he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this to them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Jesus had spoken. Now when he was in Jerusalem at Passover feast, many believed in his name when they saw the sign which he did. But Jesus did not entrust himself to them, because he knew all men, and did not need anyone to bear witness of man, for he knew what was in man. In Luke 5:1-11, Jesus is preaching at the seashore in Galilee, and as the crowd grows, he steps into Peter's boat to preach to the people. After he preaches, he sends Peter out into the deep to fish, and miraculously they caught a multitude of fish. Unlike the religious leaders at the pool of Bethesda, Peter and the sons of Zebedee that were with him recognized that they were in the presence of the Messiah. They immediately left what they knew behind and followed Jesus. Now it's your time for you to take a deeper dive into these stories. Blessings. And here's my week 1's entry. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you for spending your time with me. Until next time. I hope today your heart desires. Latest.